A flawless rifle-fire salute that rippled from them to troops outside lining the road for several miles to the King Emperor's camp and then back again. According to Mir Dast's British officer, he was just the kind of man British recruiters looked for, always outstanding and intensely imperialist. With men like Mir Dast in its ranks, the British generals in the stands seemed to have every confidence in the Indian Army. There was the Chief of the Indian General Staff, a Scotsman, Douglas Haig, who considered the Durbar a wonderful show, and sitting near him was the Indian Army's most senior field commander, James Wilcox, who also happened to be the British soldier most decorated for active service. The Durbar, Wilcox was sure, confirmed the Indian troops' visible allegiance to their King Emperor. It left its imprint deeper than any event that took place during my long service in India, he wrote. It was used by the Indians as the date to describe occurrences by, i.e., before or after the Durbar. The king was the only power the Indians understood thoroughly. He alone could finally say yea or nay. To all appearances, therefore, when the First World War broke out in 1914, the British, and by extension the Allies, had in the Indian Army a professional force ready, willing, and able to fight for its King Emperor. Up to 1918, a total of 1.5 million Indian recruits would serve in the Indian Army, 7 times the pre-war number. They were to fight far and wide, on Flanders fields, rocky ridges above Turkish beaches, coral island shores with swaying coconut trees, golden grasslands with roaming giraffe, lion and rhino, in steaming tropical rainforests on mountain slopes wandered by gorillas, and the sun-baked deserts of the Islamic world. In fact, the Indian Army was the Allies' most widespread army of 1914 to 1918, serving in foreign lands across Africa, Asia and Europe that today number some 50 different countries. This audiobook is the first single narrative of it on all fronts, a global epic, not only of the Indians' part in the Allied victory over the Central Powers, but also of soldiers' personal discoveries on their 4-year odyssey. It retraces Indian Army footsteps from front to front, following the Hindu diarist Thakur Amar Singh, the Muslim Mir Dast, who was to be one of 18 Indian Army Victoria Cross winners, Douglas Haig, James Wilcox, and others. In exploring the Indians' War, this audiobook reveals their differing experiences of the worldwide tragedy of 1914 to 1918, whether as villagers or travellers, fighting men or prisoners of war, secret agents or lovers across cultural divides. So far as possible, the story is told in the words of the Indian Army's officers and men, using wartime letters and veteran interviews, many previously unpublished, to revisit the First World War as never before. The Indian Army. The Indian Army of 1914 to 1918 was uniquely multicultural, combining such a variety of humankind into a single brotherhood in arms that it was really a modern wonder of the world. Its officers and men were a breathtaking array, worshipping more gods and speaking more languages than any other army on the planet. They were a mix of Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians and pagans, and they spoke not just Hindustani, the army's official vernacular blending of Hindi and Urdu, but also their separate home languages. These were numerous, and some Indian servicemen not fluent in Hindustani could only understand each other if they knew the right language. Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, Pushtu, Dari, Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, Burmese, Nepali, or a number of other tongues, uttered in local dialects beyond count. In having such stunning diversity, the Indian Army reflected the society that produced